heard you went on a little trip there. Yeah, did you know that? South Africa. Now, why in the world would you want to go way down there? Well, you know, Matthew, I never get tired of telling the story about Amazing Grace. The love that Jesus had to reconcile us, to bring us back into a relationship with God. Why is that? Well, because, you know, in the beginning, Adam and Eve had a relationship with God, but they messed up. Yeah, I know, they messed up big time. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, amazing, amazing grace. And, you know, there are people who don't like to hear about that amazing grace. Yeah, I know people in school. They say, why should you listen to a story that was written 2,000 years ago by authoritative different authors? I mean, come on, you know. Well, the reason is because the gospel story is sincere. It's not filled with wax, and that's what we're going to talk about in a minute. You got me confused. Sincere means without wax. Sincere means without wax. That's right, without wax. I don't get it. I want to tell you a story. Can I tell you a story? Yeah, I like to hear stories. Back in the old time, there used to be pottery makers that made pottery. Just like this. Yeah, see that? It looks mighty good. And the pottery makers did a real good job, most of them. They did it professional, they painted it, they sold it. Yeah, so what's the point? Well, then there were some other pottery makers who were dishonest. Uh-oh, what did they do? Well, they had defective pottery, they had cracks in it. And what did they do? Throw it away? No, they were really tricky. They decided they would melt wax into the cracks. And then when the wax would dry, they would paint it over. So it looked just like that. Looked like it was a perfect pottery, huh? Yeah, that's right. And they would sell this pottery. And people didn't know any difference because it looked as good as the real pottery with no cracks because it had wax in it, remember? Yeah, I got that. Do you know what happened when the pottery got exposed to the sunlight on the windowsill? Uh-oh, that's not good. It'd get hot. It would melt. The wax would melt, and it would expose the crack in the pottery. Yeah, my goodness. Liar, liar, pants on fire, my mom used to say. Well, the good pottery makers were upset, you see, because they were in business to sell pottery. And the people who sold the defective pottery with the cracks were selling theirs for a little bit less money. So it looked like it was a deal. So lots of people were buying the bad pottery. Yeah, and the good pottery guys aren't getting a lot of sales, huh? That's right. So they had to come up with a plan. Yeah, they had to come up with a big plan, I would say. And this is what they did. They decided that they were going to stamp the bottom of the pottery sincere. That's right. Sincere means without wax. Yeah, you think I didn't remember that, did you? How about you? I'm not a dummy. I'm a good night. All right, so the people who were buying the pottery, if they wanted to know they had good pottery, they had to check the bottom. And I thought I'd let Matthew look at the bottom of this pottery, and you can read. Does it say sincere? Well, I'm going to let you tell us that. I'm going to turn it over. And then what do you read? You want to borrow my glasses? No, I don't need to borrow your glasses. I know how to read. We got a little trouble there. What do you mean? Does it say sincere? No, it says it's made in Italy. Uh-oh. And there's a crack in it, too. Oh, my goodness. My, oh, my. So, you see what the point is here of this lesson this morning, don't you? Yep. Okay, Jesus, when he came and who went on the cross, Jesus was sincere, and the message is sincere, and it's stamped sincere in the Bible without wax. Yeah, well, that's a good story. I like that. But you know, there's a lot of people in America and around the world today who are walking around with cracks. And they're trying to fill it with wax and cover it over with makeup or paint or whatever. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You can only walk around so many days, you know, with a crack filled with wax, and before you know it, living everyday life, it kind of melts that wax out and exposes the crack in you. Yeah. Jesus can fix that, though. Yeah, I know, that genuine, that sincere, without wax point. I get it. I heard Miss Kathy saying today, she said that the choir was out without wax. They were sincere. Because they're always singing, and Janie in the back, he's sincere too, because he's always back there. Nobody sees him back there doing all the things he does. Yeah, except Cindy. And they do all these things day in and day out, and they're genuine, they're sincere. And they practice and hours, and they don't need to do that, but to do it. Because they have faith. Yeah, that's sincere. It doesn't have wax in it. So how about you this morning? How is your faith? Is your faith without wax? Or is it with wax? Think about that. Selah. Meditate on that.